Now, when we last saw Anne, she was sort of running into a dark forest trying to find her way home because she was completely lost. But then we saw this rather distinctively looking chap sort of following her in there, and I imagine everybody else, like me, got a bit worried. But it turns out he was friendly. He caught up with her and said, "Look, I know you probably didn't realise, but earlier on I saw you chatting to Vlad, and it was obviously quite innocent. You didn't realise, but I think you should know that he is a notorious vampire, and if you struck up any sort of friendship with him, then believe me, your life would have been in danger. But look, I can help you. I know a way out of here. It's a bit of a long way, but if you follow me, I'll take you back to where you live." And believe me, Anne was so relieved, as you can imagine. Right, so it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and Anne has just been dropped off home by Dennis. Dennis is her knight in shining armour who saved her. And she has basically got second wind now. She was so tired on the way home, but she's gone a little bit beyond that now. So she's noticed that over by the kiosk there is a bit of clearing up to do. So typical Anne fashion. She's not going to clean her own house. She's going to clean everybody else's. But you know, it has been a very traumatic night. Certainly completely out of character for Anne to do what, well, not do. I mean, just end up doing, and what doing. How can I say it? She put herself in a situation that she really shouldn't have done, and it nearly cost her her life. But if it wasn't for Dennis, then who knows what would have happened. But in a way, it's been like a kind of a good thing, really, because she did get on incredibly well with Dennis. But unfortunately, when he dropped her off in his car, they didn't exchange numbers or anything. And I think Anne is hoping that he may pop over and see her, just to see how she's doing, because at least he knows where she lives. But for now, she's just going to clear her head a bit now and go for a jog. You can tell it's getting towards autumn now, and it's a very dull, miserable day. But at least it's not raining anyway, and at least it's not that cold either. So a quick jog should clear a few cobwebs away. So in effect, this is Anne's last day of the challenge, because it's her birthday tomorrow. That's when she ages up, and then we take stock of everything. Quite exciting, really. But at the same time, it's a little bit sad, because it's now come to the end of Anne's story, really. But you never know, she might crop up somewhere in the background. You never know. You never know. It just depends on where she is in her life when we come to the end of the next episode, and whether it's worthwhile sort of putting her in game and seeing what happens. But I don't know. But I think today is just going to be a bit of a relaxing day. I don't think she's going to be doing anything in the norm. I mean, she's done a bit of gardening, but there's not a lot to take stock of. Very little growing. Now, I'm going to get her to paint, but we are going to paint from reference. So we've got to find. I thought that with the easel being out on a balcony, it would have a few nice views, but I'm actually struggling to find something. There you go, palm trees. You can paint palm trees. That would be nice. There we go. There's the reference. So off and goes. So yeah, tomorrow is the big party. Again, I don't know how it's going to pan out. At least it's not raining, so maybe we could have it outside. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But this reference painting is going rather well. I know it wasn't particularly interesting, just painting a couple of palm trees, but it's all I could find for you to paint, I'm afraid. But it might fetch £1 or two. You never know. Actually, she hasn't done as much painting as I thought she would do in this challenge. I thought that would have been like the main source of her raising money. But I think it's pretty obvious that it's turned out to be the fishing. Which is a shame, really, because I think she is quite good at painting. Right, next. Time to relax in front of the TV. Down in the basement again, a favourite place. Now, what are we watching today? We've never done this. We've never sort of zoomed in on the TV. It's like a period drama, doesn't it? I must say. So what are you thinking of this then, Anne? Are you enjoying it? Well, I don't think she's enjoying it because she's fallen asleep in front of the TV, which is not surprising, really. I mean, you know, you have had a bit of a crazy night last night. But if you're not going to watch it, then, yeah, I think the best thing to do is turn it off. Why don't you go and get something to eat? Right, so nothing major, just have a sandwich or something. Because you couldn't have your sandwich last night, could you? Because it had gone off. So let's have a proper sandwich. That would be nice. And then, I don't know what we're going to do next, to be honest with you. Ideally, you probably need to have a bit of a lie down. Just in case you absolutely shut it, which you probably are. Oh, somebody at the door. Schwabe. Oh. And look who it is. It's her hero. It's Dennis. He's popped round to see if she's okay.
Bronchi?
So they're just having a little bit of a chat about last night. And, she's thanking him for it.
Oh, Vadish. Flish? Hando.
Well, it's very nice that it's popped over anyway. I think she was sort of secretly hoping that he would, but obviously you never know these things. But she's going to ask him now, you know, shall we go out for a drink? I really would like to thank you properly.
Vadish.
And he agrees. Yes, we'll go out for a drink. So we popped over to San Mishuno. Gone to a little bar there. It's actually a karaoke bar, but it's in the middle of the afternoon. It's a little bit quiet now, so I guess that's probably just what they want, really.
Fleurs?
Oh, Zombo.
So, a couple of glasses of wine. Thank you, barman.
Mumu Kimba.
I think he's having a bit of a joke with him now. Thank you so much. But, you know, you can never have too many friends. I think that's the moral of this, and she's got a lot to thank him for.
Charfin,
I'll be honest with you, it's so nice to have somebody to talk to, because if you remember, any of the other people that she's sort of gone out with, she's done all the talking, and they've just sort of nodded their heads. But, in this particular case, it seems that Dennis is quite happy to chat.
Snibara Watanini.
Tiba Bamel.
Karenzi.
Just what she needs, really.
Ha!
Ulak. Storna Flame.
Oh, I think somebody's picked up the karaoke. Never mind.
Pakyoin Limla. Kibaya.
So they've been chatting for about an hour now. And those glasses of wine are lasting a long time as well. Oh, they've just finished them. Typical. But they're still chatting and they're still getting on really well, which is wonderful. And he's making her laugh, which is nice. And I think All the horrors from last
Oh,
night
the
are
toy,
pretty much
Skiba.
forgotten about now, and they're just going to concentrate on
Oh, blah, 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 blah.
getting to
Blah,
know
blah,
each
blah.
other, I suppose. I'm not exactly sure where he's come from because I've certainly not seen him around when they've gone out.
Buddy.
And I don't think he lives in that Forgotten Hollow
Cream.
place because it certainly doesn't look like a vampire to me.
Blob Abgor.
Maybe he was just passing by.
Rinka. Yakalo.
Just on the off chance, but why
Shamagra
he was dressed in that ridiculous
Flazzle
costume,
Bilba.
I never know. Maybe he came back from a fancy dress
Nurchel
party.
Karenzi.
Bobcara.
Who can tell?
You know? Yeah, Fruze.
Who can tell?
Wituni.
Typical. That's what happens when you have too much to drink, Anne. Your bladder needs emptying. Right. So while Anne is on the toilet, let's have a look at Dennis. Now, I get the impression he's a confident sort of chap, but I think he's a little bit shy when it comes to situations like this, which is probably why he's done a lot of talking. But I think he's been picking up things from Anne, and he's just wondering whether he should have take it a little bit further. But in the meantime, Anne is sat or stood in the toilet thinking, oh my gosh, what on earth is going off here? So, back from the toilet.
Ooh.
Now, don't tell me you didn't expect that.
Philip Buck. Oh,
Well, that's broken the ice a little bit now, and at least
is you know it?
they kind of know where they stand now.
Galba Longi. Gelbador. Damsa Garbi. Suflo
And I think-
Wogra.
I think Dennis will be
Jolly.
good for Anne because he
Wiggy Dopsu.
doesn't know anything about the lottery win.
Whoa. Nalvig.
Okay, yes, he dropped her off at her house, but he doesn't know anything about, where the money came from. She might have inherited it. He doesn't know, and it doesn't matter. He's just more interested in Anne than anything else, which is probably not the case with
Ooh.
Ariel and Yusuf, I'm afraid to say. They'll make nice friends, but certainly nothing more than that.
Ooh, Georgiou. Cool.
But it's now 2 o'clock in the morning, and they're still chatting away and getting a bit flirty, and
For Bay.
that's really good. That's really good. They're getting to know each other. But I have a feeling very soon Anne is going to start flagging.
Schwabe.
Now, what did I tell you? I think it's time to go home now, you two.
Dabishi Sleka.
Yumbara.
Kankuya.
Now, Anne, out of politeness, has asked if Dennis wants to sleep over, and he said, well, it is a bit late, and I have been drinking, so if that's okay, yeah, that'll be fine. That's great. Now, the question is, clearly they are very keen on each other, but what will sleeping arrangements be? Now, I haven't done any controlling of this. We'll just see what happens. See what sort of a person he is, our Dennis. But either way, I know that Anne is going to be absolutely burnt out after everything she went through last night, and not really getting a lot of sleep today either. She is just going to fall into bed, and that is the end of that. Just like that. Now, what about Dennis? Where's Dennis going to sleep? Here he comes, and he looks just as tired. Oh. Dennis is sleeping in the spare room. What an absolute gentleman. We like Dennis.